February 14th is a day on which Valentine's Day is celebrated around the world, but more importantly for us, it marks the completion of 10 years since the legendary Brazilian footballer Ronaldo Nazario de Lima hung up his boots. A significant date to end his career as a player who made us all fall in love with his football and who, had it not been for the very serious knee injury that he suffered in the first leg of the Coppa Italia final against Lazio as an Inter Milan player, would have been the best of all time, according to the late, legendary footballer Diego Maradona. Popularly dubbed the Phenomenon, Ronaldo is considered by many as one of the greatest players to ever step onto the football field. He's one of only 4 players to have won the FIFA World Player of the Year award 3 times or more, alongside Zinedine Zidane, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. The other Ronaldo established himself as an unstoppable force for European football teams in the mid-1990s. He also won the Ballon d'Or twice, in 1997 and in 2002. Considered one of the best strikers of all time, the South American striker played for top European clubs during a sparkling career that came to an end in 2011. His playing career spanned 18 years, scoring 309 goals for club and country. He started off at Cruzeiro and went on to have spells at PSV Eindhoven, Barcelona, Inter, Real Madrid and AC Milan before retiring at Corinthians. At 19, he was by no means a stranger to the world of football. The Brazilian striker had already established himself as one of the best young talents in the Netherlands and beyond due to his remarkable dribbling and goal-scoring abilities. In the summer of 1996, Ronaldo joined the La Liga giants Barcelona after making a switch from PSV Eindhoven. The Catalan club had reportedly coughed out €15 million to sign the talismanic striker, who was arguably at the very peak of his footballing career at that time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. La Blaugrana were looking for a breakthrough signing to calm their fans down following the shocking dismissal of then-coach Johan Cruyff. Sir Bobby Robson went on to take charge as their manager following an impressive spell at Porto. To lift the team's overall morale, the incoming head coach, along with Barca president Josep Luis Núñez, decided on bringing Ronaldo to Camp Nou despite the hefty price tag placed on his head by the Eredivisie club. The Spanish giants wanted to sign the Rio-born striker, but they would not have thought even in their wildest dreams that it had to take some extraordinary measures to get him on board. It didn't take them that long to reach an agreement with the player's representative. However, they still required Ronaldo's signature on the contract to close the deal, who was with his national team at a training camp in Miami. Naturally, PSV didn't want to lose their star player, so the Dutch club's management called on the Brazilian Football Confederation, CBF, to put all possible obstacles on the possibility of a transfer of their prized asset, who scored 54 goals in 57 appearances during his last 2 seasons with the Dutch outfit. Meanwhile, the Catalan club had started receiving phone calls from PSV officials on a regular basis, reminding them of a July 15th deadline to get the contract signed by the player if they wanted the move to materialise. Time was running out for the Blaugrana, and a possibility to meet the player under heavy security looked unlikely. Noting the complexity of the time-barred situation, the Barca president sent Joan Gaspart to Miami to settle the contract with the player, who was residing in a hotel near the national team's training camp. At first, the vice president was denied a chance to meet the player by the CBF security guards, but Gaspard, surprised by this very strange measure, found a way to get to the player after refusing to return to Spain empty-handed. Although Barcelona managed to sign Ronaldo, it took more than just a hefty price tag to land the phenomenal striker, as the vice president recalled how he ended up dressing as a waiter in a bizarre tale to sign a contract with the World Cup winner. We had an agreement, but there was a little downside to it. PSV backed out of selling him to us and included a clause in his contract that cancelled the transfer if the player didn't sign by a certain date. The days went by and Ronaldo's contract didn't arrive, so José Luis Núñez sent me to Miami to make him sign it. We had to get the approval of the player and get his signature before July 15th, when the pact we had made with PSV would become null. There were 2 security guards who didn't let me pass in any way to see Ronaldo or any other player. I arrived and wasn't able to see Ronaldo very easily. There were some bouncers at his door in the hotel who didn't let me pass in any way to see Ronaldo or any other player since they had orders not to let anyone through. I met a Spanish waiter from the hotel and he lent me his suit, a tray and a Coke. I went up to the floor the team were on in the lift. I diffused myself, said good morning to the guards and told them that the guest in that room had asked for a soda. This time they let me pass. I knocked on Ronaldo's door and he opened it for me. I introduced myself to Ronaldo and he called his agent and told them that he'd been caught. I told him that we'd complain if he didn't sign, and in the end an agreement was sped up. We hugged on the bed in his hotel room and finalised everything. The story could have been very different if the then vice president had not been so creative to get Ronaldo to sign a contract that confirmed his arrival at Camp Nou. Just imagine the situation where a waiter enters your room in a hotel and introduces himself as the vice president of one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Obviously, Ronaldo wouldn't have expected the vice president to come so far, and that too disguised as a waiter to offer him a new contract on a tray. The Brazilian called his agent, who gave him the green light to sign the contract right there on the bed of the hotel room. But the vice president didn't stop there and approached the CBF representative who'd initially stopped him from meeting Ronaldo. The guy didn't believe Barcelona's vice president until he showed him the signed contract from some distance. The deal was announced the following day, and although Ronaldo only stayed for one season at the Camp Nou, he went on to score 34 goals in just 37 appearances for the Catalan club before moving to Inter Milan the following season. Ronaldo also helping the Catalans to win the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup and Copa del Rey during his maiden season at Camp Nou. In one of his interviews last year, Ronaldo has unveiled that he wanted to stay at Barcelona for a longer period, in contrast to the club's decision not to extend his contract. I signed a contract renewal at the end of the season and went away with the Brazilian national team. 5 days later, they called me to tell me that I couldn't continue with the renewal. If the club didn't value me as I thought they should, then the decision wasn't in my hands. I would have liked to have stayed, but it wasn't up to me, Ronaldo claimed. Earlier in 2018, the Brazilian had said that he left after losing confidence in the Barcelona board. The former Blaugrana president, however, revealed in the same year that the player got a much better financial offer from Inter and took the decision to leave while the board were celebrating his contract extension. In tears, Ronaldo told me that he was sorry, but his agents had a much better offer than ours and that it was better for all parties for him to go to another club and make much more money. The 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea represented the resurrection of Ronaldo's career, who helped Brazil win the tournament and won the Golden Boot. His showings at the World Cup convinced Florentino Perez to bring him to Real Madrid. The award winner joined the Madrid club to form the fabled Galacticos, alongside Luis Figo, Zinedine Zidane, David Beckham, Raul Gonzalez, Roberto Carlos and Iker Casillas. 5 years later, Ronaldo left through the back door during the winter transfer window in 2006-07 after failing to help Los Blancos win a domestic or European title. Even though Ronaldo spent a longer spell at the Santiago Bernabeu, he was never really seen as Judas by the Barcelona faithful. His career was slightly hampered by a recurring knee injury that first happened in 1999 and would keep him out of football for nearly 2 years. Despite his individual success, he never won as many team trophies as he should have. Still, football lovers will remember the phenomenon as one of the best scorers ever. A footballer of inexhaustible resources, he never got tired of scoring goals and lifting titles wherever he went. In 2018, the 43-year-old became a majority owner of Real Valladolid after buying 51% of the club's shares. With such amazing skills and a God-given talent that made some of the best players of his time look like amateurs, Ronaldo was a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and if he'd been able to stay fit, he might have set records that even the likes of the other Ronaldo and Lionel Messi would struggle to break.